Good. Hey guys, and welcome to the Garage Athlete Show. We are on episode 79 with myself and Daniel Frazier.
Who's eating a delicious curry.
You're eating a curry.
Mm.
Last week I had a protein pudding. This week you've got a curry. I do need to get some. I'll need to get some food in before.
Do you get that? Do you get those little protein puddings?
Yeah, so it depends. Natalie orders the protein puddings from Tesco. So they're about 15 grams of protein, but the pot's a lot smaller. But I'll get sent to Aldi on a Sunday morning to go and get a beef joint for if we're having like a roast dinner or something. And if I'm there, I'll just pick up 12, even though I only end up eating like 2 of them. Because my stepson and Natalie both really like them. Like, she's not a big fan of protein shakes. So it's much easier for her. Like, if we're sat, like you were saying last week, sat in an evening and you get like a bit of a hunger pang, like having one of those protein puddings. They're quite low in sugar. I think it's about 100 to 150 calories, 20 grams of protein. It takes that sweet kick that you need kind of like in an evening away without it being too kind of like calorie dense. Like me personally, I do about 150 grams of Greek yogurt, mix in a scoop of protein powder, load of about 50 grams of frozen berries and some dark chocolate sprinkled over the top. It's more calorie dense, but I need more calories. But that's a lot more effort to make that of a nighttime, whereas just grabbing one of those puddings, it takes, 30 seconds, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It's like
and we've hit a big milestone in terms of the podcast this week. We are on 5,000 total plays. So I don't know which day that was on. I just had a look on that this morning. Ooh. So yeah, it's a big milestone. So thank you to our 41 listeners. Clearly listened to lots of episodes over and over again.
I'll send a message to my mum. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me on repeat on Alexa in the background. So.
I do you know what? I've never listened to one of our podcasts back. Not one.
I hate listening to my own voice back. Like,
you always sound different. Yeah, it's weird.
It's really bad, even just doing the show notes. So what I'll tend to do when I'm doing the show notes is I'll watch it on a video, but like I can normally skip. So I'll normally go, you can hear the question and then you see that one person talking, then another person talks, and then you'll listen and be like, are we on a new subject yet? Yes, no, might have to go back. But yeah, just hearing my own voice on the recording, it's just so, I hate it.
It is quite something, isn't it? Yeah, it's one of those things like now I'm in the band, like getting used to hearing your voice back when you're singing as well. It's like, oh, okay, like you do get used to it. It's like, I suppose it's like training or taking progress pictures or something like that. The more you do it, the more you do get used to it. You get over that fear.
Yeah, I remember the first time I posted some of they were essentially my very first before photos, and like I did a whole emoji like over my crotch and stuff like that because I was very self-conscious about it. By the week 3, it was just like, screw it, just throw pictures of myself in my pants on the internet and it's fine. Like, nobody even cares.
Yeah, it's yeah, exactly. You get used to it. Just becomes the norm, isn't it? Like, I scroll through my feed and it's like most of it's like half naked dudes, and I'm like, okay,
in their pants.
Yeah, totally. Like, I'm just like, okay, cool.
when did this become acceptable?
Yeah, totally. It just seems to be a thing that everyone's like in the gym training with their shirt off, and everyone's like, yeah, cool. I'm like, it's fine, fair enough.
Yeah.
And
on that note, I think we're going to kind of cover training in the run up to Christmas, like what most people do, whether it's better to kind of like back off in terms of training. So obviously there's lots of like more social events. A lot of people are drinking more. A lot of people are eating more. So like, what are some quick and easy ways to kind of get around that without putting on the 10 to 14 pounds, which the average person puts on over this time of year?
Is that what it is?
I think it's from Halloween to January 1st. What's that? 2 months. Over a 2-month period, the average person puts on 10 to 14 pounds over the Christmas period.
Yeah, wow. What's that? Nearly 7 kilos if you're on the upper end.
Yeah, so it's a stone, basically. They put on in 2 months.
Jeez, it makes you think, like, is is most of weight problems caused from the holiday season? I guess that we're talking probably more of the States now, because we don't have Thanksgiving or go that crazy in October. We're kind of more like, I think December's when the wheels comes off for people in the UK.
Yeah,
But like, I guess I've set myself a limit, whereas I don't want to go over 110. So I've
yeah.
set that as like, if I start creeping over 110, then I'm like, okay, now I need to like get myself in check. Um,
Well, I think it's humans as a species. We're very social creatures, and it gets to like November, December time. Like the vests have gone in the cupboard till next year. The fucking winter jumpers have come out. Like, and we're not looking at our physique kind of like as much, and then we're spending more time socializing. And especially in this country, we socialize over either alcohol or food. Like those are the two things. Like you never just kind of go to meet up and just talk. Like it's always we're going to the pub or we're going out for a meal or you go out and do something, but it normally revolves around one of those two things. And because of, well, basically it's darker, it's colder, so we're moving less and eating more. Just that balance in terms of that equation goes in that other way, and you only need to be overeating by 1,000 calories a day over a month, and you can pack on a decent amount of weight. You throw in their alcohol calories as well, and you can very easily on multiple occasions, once you throw in like Christmas parties, meeting up with friends, meeting up with family, like everyone. I always remember when I was in my 20s, I'd buy at least 2 or 3 crates of beers to have in December, or it might be like 2 crates of beers and one cider. Like I'm not a big drinker, but for some reason in December I'd end up having a beer or two or a cider like most evenings, whereas I don't normally do that for the rest of the year. So
it's the
I
old
think
fuck it, it's Christmas, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, everyone literally just goes, fuck it, it's Christmas. Like, oh, well, I shouldn't have that mince pie. Fuck it, it's Christmas. Like, and those little chocolates just appear everywhere. Like, bloody tin tubs of, what is it, celebrations and
That's the
Quality Street.
easiest way to, like, let's face it, them chocolates, they're not even that fucking good. And they're just tins everywhere. Like, I love chocolate. I really do like chocolate, but I just feel like the easiest way to not have, probably, I reckon those tins of chocolate are probably responsible for like maybe 1 to 2 kilos of fat gain.
Yeah.
Like just those shitty celebration tubs everywhere. And then everyone always throws the fucking wrappers back in the box and you get annoyed at them. They just create a mess. And they're just crap. Like
Well, have you heard they're dropping bounty from celebrations?
I know. What's your take? Is Bounty a top tier for you,
I
or is it
I
bottom?
like bounties, like because everybody else doesn't like them. I like them because then I get the tub at the end when it's just all the bounties, and I don't have to worry about. Oh, and yeah, the kids especially eating one and throwing the wrapper back in, it winds me up more than anything else. I just chuck it in the bit, or you just end up finding Quality Street wrappers for the next 3 months, like shoved down the side of the sofa, or just like why? Oh, it's a pain. And I think it's something like each one's like 30 or 40 calories. But if you can imagine, you never go and just get one, do you? It's always like 2 or 3. And then you go back a couple of hours later and it's another 2 or 3. Like over the day, you're probably having 15 to 20 of those if they're just there, because they're just there and they're in your eye line and you can see them all the time.
That's it. Because it's there, you do it. Like last time
Yeah.
we spoke, I think I went on that fucking brownie bomb binge from Aldi. Like they were just
Yeah.
there looking at me, and so I just ate them. And then I actually I actually went out and got some more. I fucking love them. Like midweek. But then I was like, one of the things I try and do is if I'm at the supermarket and I look at it and I know I want it, but I'm a bit like if I just don't buy it, it's not in the house. And if I need
Yeah.
to, like, if I really, really want it, I will go in the car and go out and get it. Fair enough. Whereas I was like, my trick is kind of like, well, it's not a trick, it's just the tactic is like, if it's not there, you're not going to reach for it, and then you've kind of bought yourself an extra few hours or another few days, and the urge might go away. Where you're like, okay, well, I'm all right now, because
Yeah.
we
You
have
put in
moments where,
obstacles in the way on
yeah,
purpose.
like purpose in place. Another good one I do is if I want to stop eating at nighttime, I'll brush my teeth. And then I'll just brush my teeth. I've got a clean mouth. I was like, I can't be bothered to brush them again. So, right, my mouth's been clean now. That's it. I'm done eating for the day. I mean,
Yeah.
there are some days when even that doesn't stop me, and I'll brush my teeth and I'll be like, I'm still fucking having that ice cream. But most, we're talking, I don't know, 60% of the time it works every time now. About like, I don't know, 80% it has a good success rate. If I brush my teeth, I'm like, that's it. But come other times there'll be something delicious I want. But it does help, and it's just using these little tools, like fasting with coffee helps you to go a bit longer, brushing your teeth at certain times, eating protein, tons of veg. There's little things you can do to try and help reduce that calorie intake. But I just had a little quick
Definitely.
Google there. Apparently the average intake for Christmas Day is 5,400 calories, to which
That
I would
doesn't
argue
surprise me.
that's bullshit. I'm easily in the fucking 8,000 to 10,000 on a Christmas day. Like,
Well,
I'm
Christmas
way
Day,
more than
it
that.
starts off with what is it? Bucks Fizz. So, like, who drinks
Yeah.
champagne first thing in the morning? And you've always got like nibbles as well, haven't you?
Oh
Because
yes,
everyone
oh
knows there's
yes.
a big Christmas feast kind of coming up. And essentially, Christmas dinner is just a massive roast. And then you have whatever there is for pudding. And then there's a cheese board. And then you're drinking into the night. So, yeah, it can quite easily go between that 5,000 and 8,000 calories. And also, why does everyone freak out about what to do with training and diet between Christmas and New Year? Like these are the same
It's
people
weird,
that
isn't
do
it?
not
Yeah.
give a fuck the other 51 weeks of the year, but absolutely lose their
Nailed it.
fucking mind of, oh
Nailed
my
it.
God, the gyms are open at a weird time. I can't go and train or whatever it is. It's just like, well, don't train then.
It's so
If,
funny you
if it's,
say that
yeah,
because it's so accurate. Like people lose their minds. I mean, don't get me wrong. I used to love training over Christmas when I went back home because I would travel down from Newcastle back down to Surrey. Find a local gym, do some lifting, but I'd still eat and drink everything in sight. But
yeah,
I trained because I genuinely enjoyed it. I wanted to do it. Whereas like now I'm a bit longer in the tooth and I've got so much more going on, sort of family work wise. It's like if it gets to a point where training is like not gonna happen, I'm like, never mind. And it's not the end of the
yeah.
world, but this is me still training 3 to 4 times a week. It's just in a different sort of way. But you're so right. Yeah, people get like proper anal about and really strange and kicking off at gyms and that. And I'm like, it's like you say, it's a few days. It was the same people in lockdown that went crazy for buying equipment and buying everything under the sun. I was like, I honestly think, right, if most people took say 2 or 3 months, maybe even more, maybe like even half a year, that's probably pushing it to the extreme of just smashing their body weight exercises and conditioning. They probably when the gyms reopened, they probably would have been in a much better place
Oh yeah.
long term than focusing on I have to buy a bench because I have to continue bench pressing, or I have to buy a squat rack. It's like there's plenty of other ways to train your legs. And I guess that's where like our job came in handy because we knew what to do when we don't have weights or machines. Like, yes, you can do this. This is where it's at. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Throw some
it's weird.
resistance band workouts in there.
Oh God, resistance band. Oh, I shudder at the thought of resistance band. But yeah, just it is interesting that everyone get like sunny obsessed over this little period where it doesn't matter. It's like I remember people would make like a big deal about, oh my God, I can't believe you're training on Christmas Day. Oh, you must be so dedicated. Oh my God. And it's like, well, I guess maybe, but at the same time, like the garage is in the gym. For most people, you do Christmas morning. There's this like dead time when nothing's happening. Like
Yeah.
everyone's playing with their toys. Someone's making a dinner, which I guess is me and my house. Someone's doing something. So it's kind of like you've potentially like when I was a teenager, I've got like 2 or 3 hours to train. So it's like, well, just go train. Like, wow,
Yeah.
like I don't expect a medal for this. It's just something I want to
But
do.
it's those people that are then putting it on their stories on Christmas Day, like hashtag dedicated. And it's just
Oh,
like, oh,
fuck off.
fuck off, you self-righteous prick. Like, right, if you enjoy training, like you said, like you've got access to the gym because it's in your garage and you enjoy training for the love of training, that's fine because you're doing something you enjoy on Christmas Day. If you're doing it to look like you are hashtag dedicated, no days off, fucking beast mode, all that shit, like you're just trying to blow smoke up your own arse and nobody cares because they're all either too drunk or absolutely like carb, like pumped full of roast potatoes. They don't care. Like who
I love roast
who's
potatoes.
even like I don't even really look at Instagram that much on Christmas Day.
I mean, yeah, you should. I mean, I don't know. I do. I still, browse and all that. I can't remember. But I'm probably more doing the dinner. But yeah, no, I do check an Instagram on Christmas Day because you can. It is important to be with family and all that. But you do have moments where you do check your phone and all that. But I'm not checking it to see who's doing what, who's training, who's lifting. It's just the habit of having a phone is you check
Yeah,
social
that's
media.
true.
So that's what it is. But yeah, I never really post on Christmas Day or thing like that. Um, well, yes. Have you got your pajamas ready for your Christmas Day picture all together?
Yes, we've still got them from last year. So I need to check that Willow's still fit because obviously she's growing too quickly. But the boys aren't with us on Christmas Eve this year. They're with their dad. So it's just me,
Okay.
Willow, and Nat. So whether the Christmas Eve KFC, that is our Christmas Eve tradition. It is a Christmas Eve KFC and some sort of Christmas movie, matching pajamas, and they get
Yeah, I
to
remember you
open one
mentioning
of their
KFC. Yeah.
presents on Christmas Eve.
That's nice.
Um,
Yeah.
so I'll probably still get my Christmas Eve KFC. Like I'm going to put my foot down. I still want it. But
Do you know what? I had a KFC last month because I was like, I really want some fried chicken. Like, I just really want it. And I haven't had it for ages. And I went and got it. I don't know if it's because it's our local one or because it's KFC, but mate, it was so bad. Like,
oh,
just
really?
awful. And I was like, why did I want this so much? But like where it's nice living next to a city is you get what do you call it? You've got loads of cool, like there was this like big resurgence in like basically fast food but done really well. So like really good
Yeah.
burgers, really good fried chicken, really good like sausage rolls, even like there's just everything around. So there's this place in town which does like amazing fried chicken, like proper like really good I don't know what the word would do. Is it boutique? Is that what one would say? But mate, I tried it and I was like, this is amazing. I was like, this is
Just blows
probably
out of
what
the water.
I was like, this is what it was like when I had KFC for the first time. You're just like,
Yeah.
this is amazing, like proper juicy, crisp
You
chicken.
know
Delicious.
what I tried for the first time? Me and the missus went to York the beginning of November, Five Guys. Like the burgers from Five Guys are another level. Like I'd never had one before, but because obviously I think the thing with Five Guys is that it's a freshly made burger, but you get to pick the toppings. So you've got like 8 different things you can kind of pick from. So it's just a plain burger, but then you can pick whether you have like cheese, bacon, lettuce, tomato, all that kind of stuff. And it's freshly made to order. So it's not like a Mackey's where you've had this burger that's just sat in a box, like sweating for like half an hour before you get it. It's like freshly made. The fries are amazing. And I was just like, oh my God, McDonald's is never going to taste the same again now after this. And we don't have a Five Guys where I live. So
But here's the thing, like you tasting Five Guys and doing all that is like, yeah, it's delicious. But then try like if you ever come up, or I'll take you to a couple of burger places. They're fucking incredible, and they make Five Guys look like shit. So it's just
oh
like
really?
it's like
Is that
levels
next
up. Yeah.
level?
Oh, they're so good. The reason I bet that Five Guys right tasted, if you can remember when you were a kid, like getting a McDonald's for the very first time, and you were like,
Probably, yeah.
oh my god, like that same kind of like just makes you happy to eat it. Because I find like the
Just a
chips at Five
massive
Guys are
amount of
amazing as
carbs
well.
and fat all in one go, and you're just like, oh my God, my little brain can't cope with this.
It's just so good. But yeah, like even when I've been pissed up, I've had McDonald's. I'm like, this is just crap. What? Like, I do like fast food, but like you say, you sort of encourage people to make that fast food at home, the burgers and all that kind of stuff, because you save loads of calories. But I've started doing it more at home now. Like we had burgers on Friday night last week, and I was like, I did the smash burgers myself, and then did all that kind of stuff, and it was amazing. It was like delicious. I was like, why aren't I doing this? Like, it's cheaper and it tastes better, and it didn't even take like by the time you go out and get a Mackie D's and make it at home, it's like about the same time. I mean, there's still times where I'll do it. Like, I'm not trying to say I'll never have it again, but yeah, it's tasty. Fuck, I'm hungry now. I've just eaten it. Now
So
what
am I. I haven't eaten yet after the gym. But I've got a call at 1. So what was I going to say? Training. Christmas period training. So as we've been talking a lot about food, like this time of year tends to be about food and socializing. So how do you help your clients navigate around training at this time of year? Like, I don't know if it's the same for you, but the biggest problem I have is people losing the motivation. Because when it comes to spring, January, and you've got summer holiday basically in less than 6 months. So people are super motivated because they've got that short-term goal. they're losing fat. Whereas for me and my clients, you tend to be in more of a building phase at this time of year when they say like summer bodies are built in the winter and all that. Like most of the guys that had that goal of getting lean for the summer, we're now transferring them into more of a building phase. So they've had 2 or 3 months now in a calorie surplus. Their calories are really high, and in a building phase, it gets monotonous because you don't get that instant gratification of, here's my photo, I look better than last week. If anything, you look slightly worse because you're adding on muscle, but you're also adding on fat at the same time. So you look softer. You're not getting that feedback, and also the changes don't happen as much. Like when you're dieting, you might have to make a change to the program like every 2 to 3 weeks. Are you still there, by the way? Yeah, sorry, I look like you're frozen.
Sorry.
Yeah, when you're dieting, you might need
to
to make some like little tweaks here and there, like every 2 to 3 weeks. But when you're building, like once you've got somebody's calories to 3,500, 4,000 calories, and you're progressively overloading the program and things are going well, you might have 5, 6 weeks where it's like, right, your weight's increased, looking at your photos, your body composition looks about the same, your training's going really well, and you've got all these habits in place. Like there's not really a lot for you to do this week. And you might have that for 4, 5, 6 weeks before they have a problem because they've spent the past 6 months building to the point where they're getting that momentum, and that's where the gains are made, sort of thing. So like, how do you help your clients kind of get through that when that monotony and stuff's kicked in?
It's quite dependent. Some guys and girls, I feel they need that switch off. Like they need to stop for a week, or it's almost like a free. I guess this sounds like a lazy coaching, but I'm like, right, for a week, do whatever you want. Like, don't worry about the program. Like it's, it sounds like I'm not doing my job, which I guess I'm not. But I'm kind of like, just go off, do what you want, have fun. Other people, say with the competition coming up, I've got a couple of lifters lifting in January. I'm kind of like, we kind of need to keep pushing. Like you might only be able to get to the gym twice or 3 times if you're lucky, but we kind of need to hit some of that top end work. So get that in. Some of the people I see in person, they won't be able to see you over Christmas. So you kind of just, right, that's that on the training front. Yes, you can subscribe home body workouts, but hand on heart, are they doing it? Oh, they fuck no. That's why they come to me, because they don't train at home. So Christmas is, I think for me, it's kind of like, don't be a greedy bitch, but then don't get really upset if that guilt when you have overeaten on certain things. So it's weird. This is where the fitness industry is really strange. It's like, I'm telling you not to overeat, not to go crazy, but at the same time I'm saying, but if you do, it's totally fine. It's kind of like, so I just do whatever. And it's kind of like, I think it's good to what do you call it, have some self-control. I mean, it doesn't have to be a lot, like you say. It could literally just be take boxes of celebrations out of your house, only drink after, I don't know, 6, 7 p.m. during that kind of week when you're off or something. Maybe that's a thing that would work. It's kind of, it's whatever you like. Some people, sometimes I get a kick out of, like, I think you're quite good at this. I think you can get a kick out of being dedicated when other people aren't, like, because you do it year round. So the fact you're kind of maybe not having this over Christmas keeps you in good spirits. But then, yeah, it's a real gray area. I think particularly because I work with quite a wide range of different people as well, with body composition goals and strength goals. If anything, strength, I think it's fucking better because you get to eat as much as you can. Well, not eat as much as you can, but you eat a lot of food full of salt, full of water, glycogen. Why not put that to use in the gym? Make some gains. Like you could. Some of the best training sessions I've ever had have been over Christmas because I just eat and drink nonstop. So it's kind of it's using that to your advantage if you can.
Up.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I've noticed that actually this week. So my mini cup came to an end this last week. And on Saturday, we went to the Christmas market. So I had a burger, bought 15 quid's worth of fudge off a stall just because I haven't had anything really sweet, crappy in ages.
I've never heard anyone say they've got 15 pounds worth of fudge.
Yeah, it was a ridiculous.
Mate, that should be the name of the podcast for today.
15 pounds of fudge. But yeah, I went into the gym yesterday for my first pull session and everything flew. And I had a fucking amazing pump because I was full of salt and carbs, which I'd almost been cutting back on for the past, 12 weeks that I've kind of been dieting. And it was it's that nice phase where you're eating more food, but because you've been in a deficit for so long, you look better than even when you were dieting because everything's like filled out, but your fat cells haven't quite caught up with the fact you're overeating. So it's a nice place to be.
if only that was that's the
If
line
only you
I'm
could
going to
stay there.
use. My fat cells haven't caught up, so I'm going to keep going. My fat cells haven't caught up with me yet. And then,
Exactly.
like, yeah, they fucking caught up with you now.
Yeah, then a week later, you're just like, oh shit, they've realized.
Class, man. But I think well, we got like 5 minutes. Oh shit, I think my computer's about to run out of battery. So we better call it a day there, mate, because I'm about to run out. But
no worries, dude. Right. So where can the guys find you if they want to hear some more?
Your local pub playing loud rock music, or online. Was it my what am I? Dan Fraser on Facebook and Bubbles and Beans. There you go. That's me on this.
Perfect. And I am the dadbod_coach on all your platforms. So it's great to catch up, dude. And I will see you next week again soon.
Take care, buddy. Bye.
Bye for now.